Monetary stabilization mechanism will maintain financial stability in the country. What is that going to be? It's the reinforcement mechanism. It's the new one. It's not the old dollar auction. They're still going to use the dollar and many different foreign currencies. Realize, when Iraq turns their currency on to go international, Iraq is going to be a foreign currency that will be traded on international markets. So, when they talk about foreign currencies, think about Iraq being one of them. So, when they talk about a basket of currencies, Iraq is going to be one of them within it. The auction currency window is indeed closed. The reported sales of 1 billion in 4 days is not being done at auction. That was turned over to the banks, which is why they were enabled with international currency exchange platforms. This way, monitoring of all exchange functions is done in real time and not centralized. Scrutiny of participants in exchanges are likewise monitored and vetted in real time. No more fraudulent exchanges for smuggling purposes. I want you to understand that what we are seeing on TV right now about bringing in the notes, it's like a clean sweep to get the old notes out, the damaged notes back, and the counterfeit notes off the street before the rate hits. This will allow all these notes collected to get into the electronic system. It was Category C, which was less desirable. That was required also for the WTO introduction. All these smaller exchange companies that have recently been licensed are now being linked to the big boy exchange companies. That all leads to something big is coming. Yes, something big is coming. A fair amount of people think the auctions have ended. This article right here will crush and destroy that theory. The central bank sells more than $1 billion in just 4 days. This article is very clear. The only changes that have occurred regarding the auctions is they no longer having or holding cash withdrawal inside the country of Iraq. They still auctioning off currency abroad to overseas banks, and they may have transitioned to a new financial system. Regardless, the important step in this is that the banking reforms are now getting implemented. That's a critical step to this. The growth rate of non-oil GDP during 2024 is unprecedented. It's great to see non-oil revenues skyrocketing. This will help support the value of the dinar. With the beginning of the new year, the US dollar enters a new phase in Iraq. Wow. This says it all. Yes, Iraq has now moved to normal ways of doing business with the outside world. Iraq had stayed on the currency auctions with the CBI supplying the dollars way too long, 20 years. This was never Dr. Shabibi's plan, but they were forced to do to the newer Obama plan of paying off the war reparations first, then moving ahead with the currency reforms, which we have now witnessed aggressive movements in this direction since the beginning of 2023. Iraq is in the best financial condition. The financial advisor to the Prime Minister detailed indicators of the efficiency of foreign reserves, while confirming that they indicate that Iraq today is better off in its financial history. Iraq has brought a new in-country rate. We heard about this after New Year's Day in Iraq. They're removing the higher denominations. The 25K dinar notes, the 10K, the 5K, the 1,000, the high 30 dinar notes. Now, those are notes that we have that we going to be able to exchange at a very high rate. Very high. We getting huge rates on the dinar that we have, but in Iraq, they re-exchanging those with 25 dinar, 10 dinar, 5 dinar, 1 dinar. In other words, without the 3 zeros. Lower denominations. They're making those announcements on television in Iraq. We look like we could get started. They're calling it the weekend as late as Sunday. We should be getting our notifications. And we should be able to get started with our exchanges. The Iraqi dollar and the first day passed peacefully. The central bank is innocent and devoted to the dinar, the platform. S function has changed from being a seller of dollars to Iraqi companies, to an intermediary between Iraqi banks and foreign correspondent banks, JP Morgan and Citibank, which will be responsible for auditing and approving the transfers instead of the Central Bank of Iraq. The currency selling window will remain, but its mission will not be to sell dollars, but to convert dinars into dollars. And there was no problem in the market today, Sunday, although the dollar rose very slightly. There's a lot of rumors talking about how the rate might change on January 6th. Disregard that. I can promise you the rate is not changing on January 6th. I'm going to give you a date in this, and it's opinion-based, so this may or may not happen. If the rate is going to change, because we don't know if the rate is going to change in the month of January. It will be sometime in the second half of January, after the 15th. That is a promise. It has to be after the 15th. The rate cannot change before the 15th, and it can only change on what is their Sunday. So it has to be on one of their Sundays after the 15th. Again, we don't know if the rate is changing in January at all. We do know January is a critical month. Vietnam is entering a phase of strong and steady growth. Experts believe Vietnam's economy will grow a lot in 2026, somewhere between 6.5% to 8%. Their exciting predictions are backed by several things, including a recovering real estate market, people spending more money, and the government putting a lot of money into infrastructure. Auctions in Iraq have been occurring. Thank you.